Hello and welcome to ReSync, an Assassin's Creed podcast. I'm one of your wonderful co-hosts, Landon. He's one of your other wonderful co-hosts, Lucas.
Yeah, that's me.
How's it going?
It's going pretty good. How about you?
It's going.
Yeah?
It's going. Assassin's Creed Shadows is out, guys.
Yeah!
It's a thing. We have a new Assassin's Creed game to partake in. At least some of us do. Some of us have a whole podcast for this franchise and can't play the goddamn franchise.
You know, they lost me after Black Flag, so it's really hard for me to re-engage.
Well, re-engage. Just do it. Just engage. It's cool samurai shit and shinobi shit.
I know. I also was busy. I plan on playing it. It's happening.
So when our bonus plus episode for April comes out and I'm just talking by myself for an hour, don't be surprised because Lucas will have put in maybe 3 hours if he ever even gets the game. So, anyway, I played 42 hours of Assassin's Creed Shadows over the last 3 days. And I can tell you definitively
It sucks.
that it is a game of all time. And so Lucas is going to say this game sucks because he's a hater and can't enjoy things. And he is part of the toxic gaming community that thinks a game is either a 10 out of 10 or a 1 out of 10. And there is no in between. However, I am a more civilized breed. And I have thoughts that Lucas can't weigh in on because he's a dumb idiot who can't play games.
I don't have a response
Soak
to that.
in. Exactly. But, okay, so I also like to clarify that I'm not giving this any sort of score right now, mostly because I'm saving that for bonus plus. Not really. No, I wouldn't anyway, just because I'm only halfway through the game. After 42 hours, I'm only halfway through the game.
That's also part of my problem. Who's gonna be... I'm not beating that game.
Okay, this game...
I'll try.
The game can be beaten in 35 hours.
See, I didn't even beat Ghost of Tsushima, and that game is smaller.
Yeah, because, once again, you're bad. And so, it can be beaten in much less time. I, however, am playing on Expert and also taking a lot of time to, like, explore, do things at my own pace. Kind of like, I'm not rushing it because I want to enjoy the game, you know? And we'll get into, you know, the specifics of how I'm doing with that here in a sec. I don't want to spend too much time on it because, again, this is about Assassin's Creed 2 or whatnot, but it is very prevalent to the Assassin's Creed community, so I wanted to give... It feels wrong to say first impressions because I've spent, like, almost 2 days of game time in this world, but it is kind of like a, you know, a sort of, like, impressions in progress, I guess you could say. As I've now experienced the front half of this game. We'll start with the good. And I will say, just overall, it's okay. I feel like my opinion will get better, but not by a whole lot. I feel like this is going to land at like a good but not great area for me. But right now, I think it's okay. Which I guess is in the minority of the public opinion. But a lot of people really love this game. You know, politics aside and all that bullshit on Twitter, I've heard nothing but positivity about Shadows. So
They picked a good place to have it in, like a good setting.
yeah, exactly. People are having a lot of fun in feudal Japan. And the quote that I came up with that I think most eloquently describes my feelings for the game is that Assassin's Creed Shadows has sauce, but it doesn't have soul. And that's kind of where I'm at. So,
Sauce, but no soul.
one of the things that I think a lot of, you know, bigger games have lacked recently is sauce, like that fun factor, that feeling of like being able to have like these cool little touches and aesthetics and like someone put actual work in. There's been a lot of slop, right? That's not the case for Shadows. Like, this is not slop. This is some stuff that they put genuine work into, and you can tell they wanted this game to succeed. There is no doubt about that. And there's a lot of really cool stuff that I really love about Shadows. I think the combat is some of, if not the best combat we've had in the entire franchise. It's fantastic. It feels sick. I love both Nawe and Yasuke for different reasons. They're both really, really fun, especially like I saw this one reviewer, because now I've been diving into some of like how other people feel about the game now that I've got a decent amount of time into it. And I saw this one reviewer talk about how it's like, oh yeah, like, you know, Nawe's like not supposed to handle more than like really like 2 people at a time. And then I think about the time where I on expert difficulty took down like 7 people as Nawe, and I'm like, damn, I'm pretty fucking good at this game. so like, I really enjoy combat as Nawe, even though you're not supposed to do it. I'm great at it, and it's really fun. And yes, she can die really easily, but I guess I've just played enough Souls games that I'm pretty good at it. I don't know. Maybe I'm masochist. I don't know. I've definitely died plenty. Don't get me wrong. It's a tough game on expert, but like, if I ever want to, you know, if I ever get too frustrated, I just whip out Yasuke and fucking steamroll, and, you know, it's good to go. Even though I've gotten clapped as Yasuke, because at the end of the day, this is a fucking gear game where you gotta fucking make the numbers go up, and it's my biggest problem with Shadows. And that's where we get to the negatives. But I mean, I will say, some people are digging on the story. I enjoy the story. I like where the story's going. I don't have any issues with it. I'm not going to say it rivals Ezio's story, but, like, I like it. It's a good story. I'm enjoying it. And there's a lot of story here, which I really, really like. It's very narrative driven. There's a lot of exposition that Lucas likes. You know, buzzword, exposition. It's something you'll enjoy here. There's really cool stuff to dig into the lore of Shadows and Japan overall. There's some cool side content. There's some enjoyable side characters. It feels like everybody is meaningful. I like the choices that you can make in this game, even though I'm playing on canon mode, which I actually heavily recommend to people, because it lets you get who Yasuke and Nawe are, like who the developers intended them to be. And then, you know, I'm excited to, like, even though I'm only halfway through the game and I'm talking about how insanely big this game is, I'm already thinking about my next playthrough and like the different choices to make there. Like, I'm still inspired to have multiple playthroughs with this 100+ hour game for me. And so, like, again, there's a lot to love here. I think this is, you know, it has the potential, at least halfway through, to be one of the best RPGs for, like, the Assassin's Creed franchise. And, you know, be truly great, which is why I don't want to say any of this definitively right now. But my biggest issue with Shadows, and what just gets on my nerves, and just constantly gets in the way of me having some genuine fun, is the fact that it just refuses to, like, tell you how to, like, it won't pace itself at all. The pacing is wrong. It just doesn't exist. And so, like, there's a lot of freedom in what you can do and what you can accomplish and whatnot. And some of it flows really well, but the actual numbers of it don't work. Like, in terms of a narrative standpoint, in terms of a gameplay standpoint, in the sense of just, like, what you're doing, I guess, is fine and whatever. And it works pretty well, actually. But when it comes to actual, like, enemy encounters and kind of how that all works. So, you know, you can approach anything in technically any order, but then, you know, there are some areas that you're gonna be way under-leveled for, to the point where, like, if someone's a certain amount of levels higher than you, it will just show a skull, and they will one-shot you. There's no, oh, I can take them. They will one-shot you. If you get hit, you're dead. And they also, you know, take an absurd amount of hits. Like, you will just be wasting time. Like, there's no, oh, I can do it. It's just a waste of your time, because you're going to spend half an hour on this person for nothing. And so it's not worth it. And so, you know, there is a certain like point where you're just not there. And it's because your gear doesn't have number high enough, and it's dumb. It's a dumb reason. And you know, like instead of having story reasons behind it or anything like that, it's just a rudimentary gear system that I just have never really truly liked in the RPGs. I've just withstood. And so yeah, it's more prevalent than ever. There's perks that are really cool and I like and I enjoy and all that stuff, but the actual numbers aspect of it just gives me a headache. Every few levels, I'm forced to go back to my hideout, to the forge, to then make sure my gear's up to par and upgrade so that it works, because then all of a sudden I'm like, I'm dying a lot. Oh yeah, like my gear's like 4 or 5 levels behind now, so I'm down to being a fucking whelp again, and I gotta go upgrade it. And it's annoying, and it messes with the you know, flow of the game in that way, alongside the fact that there's just so much stuff to do. Stuff that's really enjoyable. I enjoy all the side content. I enjoy the main missions. I enjoy just the little things you can encounter in the world. Everything is fun and intriguing to do. Don't have an issue with any of that. The issue I have is that the main missions are paced out so, like, close together that if you spend any significant time doing side stuff, meaning like anything above like 2 hours, I guess, which there's genuinely like 100 hours of side content. Not an exaggeration.
Jeez.
100 hours. Like, to the point where the platinum for the game will only put you at 50% completion, which I also super hate, because what is the point of a platinum if not to have completed the game? Yet in Assassin's Creed Shadows, the platinum is only 50% completion. It doesn't require you to actually complete the game. It's dumb. Like, you are literally admitting that you don't expect people to complete this. Then why did you put all that stuff in there if you're not even going to task them with completing it? That's like a, you know, like, hey, we'll be nice to them. So you're saying you're being mean to them by adding all this stuff. It's just it's a stupid thing, and that's why I'm just like, what? So there's so much stuff to do, and it's not even that it's inherently bad. It's just that it doesn't scale to the point where it's like, again, if I'm doing any of this side stuff that is enjoyable and I like doing, and it helps me because you'll get knowledge, and that'll like, you know, help you like develop your skills and be stronger, and it does make you feel genuinely more powerful. And I like the upgrade system that they have. You can respec it at any time for free. And so I'm literally changing up my entire like spec sheet all the time. And that's the one like numbers-esque mechanic I actually enjoy, is just messing with my character and making different builds all the time in terms of their skill set. I just don't like looking at numbers. I want to see like actual value come from my stuff. I want to see my character do new things, not, oh look, his health bar goes down a little bit faster. Wow. Don't care. Don't need to know about all that. And there's so much useless loot where it's like you get legendary equipment right at the start of the fucking game. And so it's literally just going to the next equipment and then immediately dismantling all of the other loot that you get, which is the majority of it. And so most of the loot is inconsequential because of how early on you get legendary loot. It's just that whole numbers balancing system is just not there. Which, like, again, it is just it's just inclusive enough to where it gets on your nerves, but not enough to completely detract from the experience. So it's like I'm still having a lot of fun in Shadows and enjoying it, which is why I'm so torn about my feelings for it. And it's why I completely understand why people really love this game. I think this is going to be a fantastic game for the casual community, because the casual community really loves doing main missions. They don't like 100%ing these games. They really like just steamrolling through the story. That's what they want to know. And I feel like if you do that with the occasional side mission, you're going to have a much better time of it. I think it'll scale fairly well for you, and you'll do well, especially, you know, if you're playing on like the normal standard difficulty, not expert or whatever. I feel like that will be a much better experience. But it is annoying that the game just isn't scalable. Like it for a game that claims that you have all of this agency and all of this choice, it feels like it is optimized for a very certain play style and nothing else. And that irks me because that's not what you're marketing. And so it's like it seems like they had too big of aspirations for it, and instead of making it work, they just geared it towards one thing and made the other stuff just kind of like, well, if they want to, versus let's make something that they should want to. You know what I mean? And that's the issue I take with it. But I think there is a great game here. And I think, again, if you play it in a certain way, so what I would personally recommend, and this is where we'll wrap up because it's already been 15 minutes. So I just know because this is a short sequence, so we have time.
Yeah, it's pretty short.
So I would highly recommend you play the game as standard, unless you really want to play expert. I think you can still have fun on expert. Like I don't think that's like the least important of the changes. But play on the standard difficulty or expert if you want. Because expert's really not that hard, honestly, especially if you are like a Souls gamer and are like used to more challenging stuff, you'll be fine because the save points it constantly saves. You're never going to lose a significant amount of progress. You get fucked up in a fight and you'll just pop up like seconds before the fight to do it again. You lose nothing. It arguably takes away the majority of the challenge. Like the fights themselves can be difficult, but you lose nothing by dying. So it really doesn't matter. So it's arguably not that difficult, but play on that. I heavily recommend canon mode for your first playthrough because I just think it's fun to experience what the developers see as like their vision for the game, because there are some interesting choices that I wouldn't expect to be the canon but is. So yeah, it's cool, but I understand if you don't want to. I recommend it.
I'm not.
Yeah, like I said, I'm whatever.
I like to have my choices. I'm like Mass Effect.
Really, because that's not old Assassin's Creed. Old Assassin's Creed is canon mode.
I'm already going.
You're going against Assassin's Creed.
I'm
Lucas,
going into this
badly.
game thinking of Ghost of Tsushima and not Assassin's Creed.
Saying, for someone who talks all this shit about games that stray away from Assassin's Creed, here you are straying away from the Assassin's Creed roots. They literally included the canon mode as an homage to the older games. Like they said, for people who like that concrete narrative of the older games, here's canon mode.
It's not that I liked the concrete narrative. I just liked the linearness of it. Like, it's one direction. It doesn't matter which way it was going to go, but like it's one direction.
Right. Well, guess what? One Direction broke up. So we have multiple directions now. So, you know what? But you can have less with canon mode. But I guess you want more. You're just saying fuck it. But
I just like good story. That's all I want. Good story.
Well, you can get that with canon mode.
Well, can I get it without canon mode?
Yeah.
That's what matters.
Okay. Well, just saying. Fuck you.
Good story, but good Assassin's
Play
Creed.
The game and then you can talk about it.
Assassin's Creed. It's Assassin's Creed.
Which, again, the majority opinion, like, again, this has an 81 on Metacritic. It's currently sitting at a 57 on Metacritic, which I'm shocked about because most games that have this much shit-talking on Twitter are never above a 40. So, that should say enough in itself. From people who've actually played the game, I've heard nothing but positive stuff. So, again, I seem to be in the minority here. There's this one YouTuber who's actually my favorite, Jake Baldino. Shout out to him. I watched his video and I was just like nodding my head the whole time because he's in complete agreement with pretty much everything I said. I think he goes slightly harder on it than I would. He says he calls it a podcast game where you can just turn your brain off and like do other stuff while like doing it and just kind of like mindlessly do it. He didn't care for the story. I don't think it's that bad. I don't agree with that. I do think the post game can be like that, where you can just, have a podcast on and just like do your stuff, which also reminds me of the Animus Hub, which again, I've been talking for way too long, but I do want to talk about the Animus Hub real quick here. But
real quick.
Whatever. This is but because it's important, it's the modern day stuff. But and I have good things to say about the Animus Hub, but play with canon mode if you want. And then also do immersive mode, because I've heard a lot of people trash talking the English voice, while it does kind of suck that I need to be like paying attention to subtitles a lot in a video game, which like again I like subtitles, but having to focus on them to understand what's going on can be a little annoying at times. But it's so much better than the English voiceover. Like the English is kind of rough, and it's definitely another weak point for the game. I've seen plenty of clips, and I haven't been impressed by really any of them on the English side, but I really like the Japanese voice acting. And then they have because there's a bunch of Portuguese merchants setting up Christian churches in this time period in Japan, and they have Portuguese as well. So it's what they're supposed to do, and I like that. So I recommend doing that. If you're not going to do the canon mode, at least do the immersive mode. If you can stomach, having to deal with the subtitles and whatnot, I would heavily recommend that one, actually. That's not even like a guide, just heavily recommend the immersive mode.
If you can't read, learn.
Exactly. But anyway, like I said, it's a bit of a mixed bag. We'll see how I feel about it, in the Bonus Plus episode when I get through the full game and Lucas maybe gets past the tutorial and have fun there. But as far as the Animus Hub goes, all right, I'm going to give myself 60 seconds starting now. It's fine for what it is. It's nothing revolutionary, but it's a good start. I like where it's going. They don't have dailies. They have daily items in the shop, but that's all again cosmetic stuff. That doesn't matter. But there's battle passes that are free. There's 2 of them currently that look to take about a month to get through. And you automatically have them. Nothing like that. They give you little tiny like story stuff, and then again like new items, weapons, stuff like that, just gear, and then also cosmetic stuff. And there's weeklies, 4 weekly things that would take you probably like 2-3 hours. I did it spread out, but so you're playing like a few hours a week, which if you're an Assassin's Creed fan, completely makes sense. It's
10 seconds.
Bad. And so I like where it starts. It's not too much. I'm assuming they're going to build more, but nothing here is inherently bad. I enjoy it. I think it's good. I like it. Hopefully there's more. I think they're a good start. See? 60 seconds. Boom. And so now we can get into the episode proper.
Well, not even proper, but we'll get into the episode.
Well, yeah, because I got to talk about trivia real quick, which is a usual thing. And so last week's trivia question, Malarkey got wrong. And I guarantee, that's right. You're like, what's going on? What's going on? I definitely did it. You did. And I know exactly what you did because I Googled that exact thing to check and make sure. And I'm like, oh, this does say 28. And then I went to the fucking game and I looked again and I saw footage of the game. I got multiple sources to confirm that I wasn't gaslighting myself. And you're wrong. It is not. A lot of people do get that amount of ribbons because, again, the trivia question is how many ribbons do you need? And that is the important part. How many ribbons do you need to get from the Ladies of Carnival to win the competition? Now, a lot of times you're grabbing multiple ribbons at a time. So most players, maybe even all, honestly, I don't know if it's like a set thing, but I feel like in this walkthrough I saw the person got this amount and not 28, like Malarkey said. But a lot of times you can get above the amount because he'll grab multiple a lot.
I got 28.
Yeah. But you only need 25. Wrong.
Yeah, you look at the little counter up there. You're over the amount you need.
Exactly. Precisely. You only need 25. But again, it could be that everybody gets 28. I'm not sure if you get, but I feel like the one I saw was 20. Like that person did get 25. I don't know for sure, but you only need 25. So congrats to the people who got it right. Not President Biden over there, but
Sleepy Joe.
Best of luck next time. Go back to sleep for this one. But on to sequence 10. And welcome proper to the 20th episode of ReSync.
Holy shit.
Yeah, we're 20 episodes in. 10,
a lot
20.
Of episodes.
Technically 22 if you count Bonus Plus, but, yeah. And so, super exciting. Thanks for the people who've been here this whole time. Thanks for the new people. People keep joining the Patreon. Super thanks for all that. Really good time. Very appreciate all of you guys being here, especially in this, exciting time that we're in, entering the 3rd period of Assassin's Creed, looking back. And it's definitely been interesting, playing Assassin's Creed Shadows alongside, the peak of Assassin's Creed with 2. completely different control schemes, by the way, because the RPGs went to using like the trigger buttons for attacking and stuff, and so it took me like an hour into Shadows to like get used to that. And I guarantee when I go to play this sequence of sequence 11 of Assassin's Creed 2, I'm gonna have to do the same shit of just getting reacquainted, and I'm gonna have to keep doing this back and forth, and it's not gonna be fun. I debated honestly looking into the settings and seeing if I could change it, but I'm like, that's a lot of work. I'm like, I was about to just like respec my whole thing to make it, because I'm like, this is gonna be a pain in the ass for the next few weeks of having to rewire my brain back and forth every single week.
See, I played those games like growing up, like the old school Assassin's Creed, so like those games are like the control schemes are like ingrained in my brain.
Well, that's what I'm saying. And, like, again, there's a lot of stuff, especially because you play a lot of the early game in Shadows as Nawe. So it feels very much like the old Assassin's Creed games. So you instinctively want to do the old controls. And then you're like, fuck. And I'm literally in a fight fucking crouching. Like, I'm trying to and I'm like counter up. No, to attack. Because you're square or it's to crouch, and the RPGs it is not attack. So I'm trying to swing my sword, and I'm just like, I'm like, and it took me embarrassingly long to rewire my brain over, and it was really annoying. But
and I wish I watched the earlier part of that stream.
Well, you can always watch the VOD.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. But you guys can too. Go watch the VOD. You can watch 40 hours of Assassin's Creed gameplay right now. But this is about 40 hours because I had fucking issues sometimes. Anyway. What was I talking about? Oh yeah. Assassin's Creed 2. Yeah, that thing, You remember that game, guys?
What was I talking about?
Sequence 10. How you feeling now? We're double digits. We're in the third act now.
I'm feeling pretty good about everything.
Yeah.
I'm like, I got the new armor. I got Montrejone is like fucking popping right now. I just need to buy all those stupid paintings.
Hell yeah.
Making a lot of money.
Must be nice. I still have not been back to Montrejone since we left for Venice.
I'm not poor.
Yeah, I'm pretty poor. But I still have almost everything. I guess, actually, no, I do have everything because I just got the achievement, the sequence for obtaining all of the upgrades. Which you don't have. So, get fucked.
How do I not have all the upgrades?
Because you have to buy all the armor pieces.
I bought all the armor pieces. I have every single piece of armor.
Have you bought your belt upgrades? Like your knife belt and poison?
Yeah. That's what I'm forgetting. Yeah. I knew I was forgetting something.
Yeah, that's the other
God
thing.
damn it. Because I was like, I literally bought every single piece of armor just so I could check that off my list of things I had to do. Because like it added a shit ton of value.
It does, especially those like whatever the final one's called. Yeah,
whatever
that special metal.
Yeah,
that one adds a bunch of value. I think that chest piece added like fucking $2,000 or $3,000.
Well, yeah, when you get the whole set, it has like the bonus at the bottom that it gives you, and I think that one's like 3,600 or something like that.
Yeah, it's pretty insane.
Yeah.
But
I'm making a lot of money a minute. It's great. Or not a minute, but every 20 minutes.
Yeah, I'm sitting at around like 14 grand every 20 minutes.
It's definitely got to be lower than that, bro. Because I'm making like 1280.
Or no, my max is 14 grand.
Oh,
that's
okay.
My max is 14
okay,
grand.
I was like, I'm literally making. I was like, there's no way because I'm making like less than that.
Yeah. That's what I was saying. Yeah.
Yeah, my max is like 54,000. So
yeah, that tracks.
I'm still at like 40,000 florins in my chest right now that I have to go pick up.
Yeah. So if you're at 12, then I'm probably making like
4.
Yeah, but. It is what it is. But, I'll just, sink it into Montrejone when I get a chance. And, it'll be fine. It's just coming up. Which, I mean, it's also important to kind of take it into perspective that, remember, we're getting close now. Sequence 12 and 13 were not in the original release. As they just straight up weren't ready. And so instead of, delaying the game, they just shipped it without those two sequences and then added them later. And so, yeah, like sequences 12 and 13 were not in the 1.0.
That is crazy.
So, yeah, they just didn't have two of the sequences. They went from 11 to 14.
They just ended the game.
No, the final sequence was 14.
Well, that's what I mean. Like
Yeah.
they just like before did they just like skip two sequences and just ended the game?
Yeah, they're just like, there you go, good now. Which, again, it's been so long, I don't remember how, like, consequential 12 and 13 were, because it could be that they were just kind of, like,
You're probably
extra
just
padding.
banging some chick before you go off to war.
So it's like, I don't remember enough about those sequences to remember how important they were, but yeah, they just straight up weren't in there. And so you also have to think about the fact that, yeah, this is, like, next sequence was the original, like, penultimate sequence. So we're getting pretty close to the end here. There's a lot of important stuff going on. I wouldn't say, you know, that like this sequence really gets too deep into kind of like the end game of what's going on, but it is a bit of a prologue.
Yeah,
to
definitely sets up like where you're going to be ending things at.
Right, like there's some important stuff afoot, and you know it ends off on a note of you know, things seem to be coming to a conclusion here. And it all starts, you know, right here at sequence 10.
Should we talk about this stuff?
Well, is that what you did pretty much immediately?
Yeah, that was the first thing I did.
So we can talk about some side quests here real quick, because Lucas finally went and did some side quests beyond the tombs. He did 3 side quests in the sequence that I did. What was it? 23 is what I counted.
Yeah, he did 23.
This man's like, I did all the stuff I could do in Florence, and I'm like,
no. I did all the waypoints. That's what I was
did all
trying
the
to say.
waypoints. Well, technically, all of them are waypoints. All the ones I did.
No. Like the way you do the synchronization and you.
Oh, all the sync points.
Sync
Gotcha.
points. That's what they're called.
Gotcha. Well, I think they're technically called viewpoints. They go back and forth in the franchise a lot on whether they're called viewpoints or sync points. So I never know which one does what.
Viewpoint is probably what I was thinking. But yeah, I finally got all of those, and I collected all the codex pages, and
In Florence?
in Florence.
I don't know if I've actually done that. There might. And honestly, I don't think I've done viewpoints either. There's probably like a couple. Actually, I think I've gotten all the codex pages in Florence. But I do feel like there's a couple viewpoints that I've missed.
I'm only missing like 6 or 8 of them for the codex pages.
Like total?
Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't checked on my codex pages.
Because honestly, I'm kind of pissed off at Majeure because it's like making me want to I'm not trying to 100% the game, but I'm about to 100% it just so I can get all the stuff to make my city make me a bunch of money.
I know, and that's the thing. That's another reason of why 2 is so great, because you do instinctively want to like complete the game. It's a game that has like pretty good side missions. You know, they're not all like great, but you know, like it has meaningful incentives that make you want to keep going.
I feel like if you read the descriptions for the side missions, they have a lot more value to them, because like
100%.
Because like if you just like did I was thinking about, I was like, man, if you did not like because I'm writing stuff down, like I put the description down before I play, because like, you know, the podcast and stuff, but I'm like, I bet a lot of these people are just like playing the game, and if you're just like accepting the mission, not really reading the intro to that, I was like, man, you're missing out on a lot of details of what you're really doing.
Oh, 100%. Yeah, they definitely had completely different people working on like the mission design and then, you know, writing the narrative, because they're like, all right, we have this mission where you have to go kill these brutes, make up a story for it. 100%.
Yeah.
100%.
And it was honestly pretty good story, like pretty good. Like
yeah.
I was like, oh, I like this. This is
yeah, exactly. It's cool, and like there's some assassination missions in here that are really clever. I really like them, especially some of the later ones that are just some interesting like level design, like hidden in there that like play with the mechanics in interesting ways. They're really cool. I definitely recommend them. You know, again, they're not all great. Some of them are pretty simplistic. You know, some of them are better than others, but there's some you know, some gold in the rocks there.
You get some money.
Yeah. Yeah, you also you get like 2 to 3K per mission.
Yeah.
So it's a nice way to make some easy cash. But what was the first one you did?
First one I did was Day at the Market. It's a plot against Florence's supply lines have been detected. End it by killing the merchant at the marketplace in San Marco district. That one's pretty basic, as far as, you know, just these honestly have been. But It was just, it was a pretty basic mission. Like, you just went out, there was a guy, and you killed him.
Right. I mean,
there wasn't any like special like level or anything you had to do to get around him. It was just like, there's the guy, get him. You had to look for him. That was like the biggest thing. You had to like bring the eagle vision out and like find out where he was. But
right. And like, given that it's, I believe, 87% sure it's the first assassination mission you can do, like in the game that's possible for you. It makes sense. It is a bit basic in, a sense. But yeah, I mean, it is one of those things where, again, like the narrative designer like wanted to make context for all of this, and so it does add a lot of value. Kind of like reading that letter from Lorenzo, which Lorenzo gives out all the assassination contracts, even in other cities. Which I'm like, I don't know. It'd kind of be nice to get some assassination contracts from Antonio and like Mario and stuff. Like, why does it always have to be Lorenzo? It gets to the point where I thought multiple times doing assassin contracts, I'm like, man. Like, I know we're getting paid, but, like, I kind of feel a little abused by Lorenzo. Lorenzo kind of, like... And some of them, it literally is just like, hey, this guy pissed off my family. Can you kill him, please? like, I feel a little used. Like, like, am I really just your personal assassin? Like, I know you're paying me, but I thought we were I thought we were more than this, But, yeah, it is a little simple. Nothing too big to write home about. But you're definitely going to have to lead the specifics on this because it's been almost 2 months since I've done these missions. So and I've done like, again, almost 30 of them.
I said, this first one was like, it literally just gave you an objective marker to walk to this like marketplace, and you just turned on your eagle vision, looked for him, and then you stabbed him.
I think I vaguely remember that one.
It was it was pretty like I said, most basic probably assassin's mission that I did.
Right. What about the next one?
The next one I did was Fallen Archers, where several Pazzi archers are attacking Palazzo Deli's
Signora.
Yeah, that one. They attacked it last night. And he's tracked him down to the edge of the river in Santa Marco district. And you gotta kill him. Yeah. And basically there's 3 archers. And I thought they were gonna be on the roofs. For some reason, they weren't on the roofs. They had to like I was on the roof looking, I was like, I killed the archers on the roof. How is there still a red dot here? And he was on the ground, not on the roof, not doing archer things.
Well, he's not on a shift. They're night shifters.
I didn't think about that.
They're just chilling.
That didn't make sense to me at the moment. I was like, they're archers. Why aren't they archering?
Well, you know what? Sometimes they have to enjoy the Renaissance, okay?
Yeah, but they're just walking around doing a little thing, and you just gotta like kill them. Yeah. And I just the one guy I poisoned because I like poisoning people. Sometimes it's fun to just watch them get all I love when they die on the ground at the end. It sounds so brittle, but there's like, whoa, whoa. Yep. And then they die. It's just like,
just plop. It's great.
Yeah, but you just sneak around, kill the 3 archers, and make some money.
Hell yeah. Yeah, nothing too crazy.
Nothing too crazy.
And then what about political suicide?
Political suicide. A member of the... Say that word for me.
A member of the Signora?
Yeah, Signoria. Yeah, because I was saying it out loud and I can't say words, so yeah, it's Sigourney. Sigourney. I was like, gets that? That's not what it was. But they're working with the Pazzi to turn the tide against the Lorenzo family. And he located them near the church of San Lorenzo, but killed them silently. This mission pissed me off so much.
Was this the one where he was like in between the two guards?
Yeah.
But there's also thieves right above them.
No, okay, here's the thing. I used those thieves. I sent the thieves, and they went and did their thief thing, and they guided them away, right?
Right.
I let them go away. There's no markers on me or anything. Like, they didn't see me.
Right.
And I start getting close to them, and they start noticing me.
Right, because he can notice you, which is why you need to blend with the crowds that are near the area. There were no
crowds. It was just an empty hallway.
Well, get good. Honestly, I think...
Eventually, I walked up to him without him noticing me somehow. I just went, and I killed both of them. But...
I think if I remember right,
It took me 3 tries. No, 4 tries. 4 tries.
So it did take me 2 tries, but that was just because I didn't realize that he was going to like get hostile. And so I like did use the crowds that were conveniently there to get up close, but I left because I didn't think I would need them, and then he noticed me and it got fucked up. But then the second time, I just used the chaos of the thieves getting into it with the guards, like right there, to then blend with them to get close enough so that I could just...
See, I tried doing that too, but then as soon as I got close to the guy, the guards saw me. Like, not even the guy was, like, suspicious. The guards were on my ass. And then I lost it because I was detected, and you had to do it silently.
Right.
That was part of the criteria.
Right.
You had to do it silently. Stealth.
Well, just be more stealthy.
Yeah, eventually I was stealthy enough to where I could just walk up to him and stab him in the head.
That's where I kind of miss the bullshit mechanic in the first game, where if you just do the...
Like,
you'll get away. Yeah.
No, I was thinking about that. I was like, this would be so fucking nice right now.
Right? It's a bullshit mechanic, but it's really funny using this. Just like you'd be like in the middle of a bunch of people and just
monk. You know, I got weapons and knives all over me, but monk.
Yep. Just, I'm praying. You can't hurt me. I'm a man of God.
But yeah, one of them I lost. Because I was like, fine, if I'm going to keep getting detected, I'm just going to throwing knife this guy. Because he's, no armor.
Right.
Throwing knife.
Right.
Hit him with the throwing knife. This man doesn't give a shit about my throwing knife, bro. He's like, ugh, you did that. And then I lost. And I was so mad. I was like, what do you mean you're taking a whole throwing knife, bro? I was like, I threw that at you. You should be dead. You're not an archer wearing armor. You're not doing shit. You're wearing cloak.
Well, maybe Lorenzo wasn't truthful about our target.
I know.
Maybe he's actually a high-ranking official, incognito.
Yeah, but now he's dead.
Yeah, he's dead now.
Yeah, so eventually, I just walked up there and killed him. But, yeah.
Went through some trials and tribulations to get there.
Yeah, I was getting so annoyed. I was like, this should not be taking me this many tries. But, because I knew what to do instantly. Like, I saw the guys, I was like, okay, I gotta lure the guys away. But it was just, took me four.
You didn't lure them appropriately.
Apparently not. I tried both sides. I was like, I was getting so annoyed, dude.
Yeah, it's interesting. I saw there was this other Assassin's Creed podcast that I'm not gonna name because I'm not entertaining that, and also I have no idea what it's actually called. They've popped up on my TikTok a few times now, and I like them a lot. There's some good peeps over there. Shout out to them. But they were talking about how, like, the argument of playing the Assassin's Creed games in chronological order, like starting with Odyssey and then Origins and going through that way. But they're like, first they point out like the modern day storyline about how it is much more prevalent in the old games, and you're gonna like have no, like, it's gonna screw with that if you do it that way. So like they're like, for your first time, no, it's fun for like fans of the franchise, but you shouldn't do that, originally. And also the fact that if you start with the RPGs and then you go back to the old games,
you're gonna kill
you're gonna hate the old
That's
games.
Gonna be horrible
because they're so fundamentally like skewered by the old physics engines. Which, another point about Shadows, it's not that much better. You know the amount of times that I want to fucking go down a building and he's sitting there just like, just fucking go down. Another thing that other people have said. It's just like, one guy's like, they've been doing this for almost 20 years and they still don't know how to fucking go down a goddamn building. Just go down. Stop.
You gotta stop at the edge, then you gotta wait, and you hit B, and then you'll drop, and then you can...
Like, it's better than we are doing now in Assassin's Creed 2, and it's an improvement. But again, the fact of the matter that we have all these modern platformers, like, one that platformers have been like the oldest genre of stuff, and you can't get your platforming right.
Because I have to play Assassin's Creed. Do you have a controller available?
Yeah. All kinds of controllers.
Yeah, give me that one. So when you play, how do you play? Hold your hand.
I don't play with the claw. I know you play with the claw. I don't.
No, I don't play like that. Like, you're gonna freak out when you see how I play.
You doing the bullshit where you go like this? Okay.
No. I play like this.
Why?
So
show the viewers what he's looking at.
So this is my camera stick. I can control my camera and I can still sprint, but I can also lean over to B. with my thumb and shove people when they're in my fucking way. Because fuck those people. But,
so I use it like a normal human being, where I just, have the thumbs here and then, move over. I don't do this weird fucking Ravenclaw type shit. Yeah. That's weird. That's weird of you.
That's how I play. I have to control the camera, dude. It doesn't stick with your dude. It doesn't move around. Like, if I turn the corner...
Yeah, that's why you do this.
But then how am I going to continue sprinting? Get the whole day to sprint.
Sprint? Turn.
No, I guess A is free run.
Yeah.
But you run faster when you free run. And then how am I going to shove if I need to go around a corner?
Just get good.
I can do it at the same time now.
It's just like you're running, you hold this, do that. Don't worry about the camera, get good, and if you need to shove...
Or I can just do it at the same time.
Just get good.
Just do it at the same time.
I don't know. But, yeah, so... Well, you don't have to worry about that in Shadows, because you just click the analog stick to sprint. Yeah.
Yeah, but I was gonna say, you're gonna lose your mind when I show you how I hold the controller for this game.
I feel like you talking about Black Flag right now. But, alright. More power to you, I guess. So, anyway.
Oh, yeah.
Let's get into sequence 10 proper 45 minutes.
45 minutes of this podcast. Let's talk about the sequence.
I told you guys we had time. Because we'll get done with this in like 10 minutes now. So, this one, a thief comes up to Ezio saying that Antonio wants to talk to him. And that's where you get introduced to the new Doge, the brother of the previous Doge,
Barbaggio.
Assassinated by the Templars.
Still Barbaggio.
Yeah, Silvio Barbaggio.
Barbaggio? Oh. Fuck their names. I'm not Italian.
We can tell. And so they tell Ezio that Silvio has fled to amass an army, prompting Ezio to create his own.
Which, honestly, this is a pretty fun sequence.
It is a pretty fun sequence. There's a lot of fun humor to it. I was watching, because, again, I'm just, like, there's a lot of Assassin's Creed content going around right now with Shadows, and people are talking about the best and the worst and all this stuff. And I saw this one review from IGN UK for Assassin's Creed 2 that says that Assassin's Creed 2 knows, like, they have a lot more fun with it. They drop a lot of the serious undertones of the first game, and they know what to leave in and what to drop. And I think that fun aspect is, one, very prevalent here, and two, just very true in general.
It's a lot more adventurous than the first one. Like
it puts more of the adventure in the action adventure.
Yeah.
But... yeah, and I think 10's probably the funniest sequence yet. There's like a lot of like memorable quotes that are funny in the early game, but 10's really it's a pretty funny sequence, mostly just because of Bartolomeo.
I call him Bart because I couldn't spell his name.
Good old Barty.
Good old Bart.
And so Ezio has to seek out Bartolomeo, who apparently has an army he can use to help take down Silvio once and for all.
But he's in prison.
Yeah, you go to try to find him, and you find one of his men dying on a roof.
Oh, that's right. I forgot about that part.
Yeah,
I wrote it down.
Yeah. Who says, that he's been captured by the Templars, and so you gotta go do a little prison bust. Where he's literally talking shit the entire time.
Yeah.
Like, he is just this angry Italian man.
Let me out of here.
Like, I'll beat your ass right now. You know what? You're a pussy. This is what's wrong with all of you guys. You guys don't do shit.
Yeah, it's like, look at you get your ass kicked.
And it was, like, around this time that my fucking game crashed.
Oh.
I had a game crash in Assassin's Creed 2 in the year of our Lord 2025. What the hell?
My game hasn't crashed.
Yeah. It's crazy. I blame it on the Ezio collection.
I was playing on Steam Deck this time, but...
Yeah, my game crashed during this part, and I was a little annoyed.
Man.
It was before I got to the prison, I'm pretty sure.
I wasn't even playing on Windows, and it says exit to Windows when you close out that game, so, like...
Yeah, I mean, Ezio Collection was known to be a barely made, like, it's a very lazy, remaster,
Well, that's sad.
Yeah, and like I said, it wasn't received well. It got like a 72 on Metacritic or something like that.
Glad I'm playing the OG.
Yeah, where you don't have half the side missions?
No. Shut up.
And so you free Bartolomeo.
He's very happy. He doesn't know whether to kiss or slap you.
Exactly. And then you escort him through the district back to his home because he's worried about Bianca. You have to save Bianca.
Yeah. Where's Bianca?
His love. His
love
true
of his
love.
life. We gotta save Bianca. You're looking all around for her.
And finally, you're able to find his trusty sword. Bianca.
Which honestly threw me off because the way he was like, I thought his wife was dead. I was like, oh no, we gotta find his wife. Yep. I was like, god damn. I was like, they are fucking around. And then it was just a sword. I was like, oh, you motherfucker, get me all worried.
Bianca. It's just great. He might be my favorite character yet. We love Bartolomeo. He's got his priorities straight. Women, no. Big ass swords.
Yeah. I was like, they definitely got her, bro. I was like,
and so, yeah, Ezio explains that, he's got business with Silvio. Bartolomeo's basically like,
he's like, I'm down to scrap. You just put me in a cage.
Yeah, he's like, fuck yeah, I fucking hate that guy. You know what? Bet. And so, he's basically like, I'm not really in any shape to do it right now, so I'm going to need you to do some stuff for me, but I am 100% down. This is one of those things where, not that I would ever want this to actually happen, but like in a live action adaptation, I want that motherfucker that does what's one of the perfume guys in the perfume guy in Parks and Rec that's in everything? Is it Jason or whatever the fucking
I don't know his name, but he's Rexplosion.
Yeah, Rexplosion. That guy.
Yeah,
like that is 100% Bartolomeo coded right there. He doesn't fit the look at all, but just his vibe. That is Bartolomeo to a T.
Absolutely his vibe. Like he could definitely play him like
like I am A-okay with torture. Like that TikTok quote one like that right there.
Yeah, he's in like good place. He's in all sorts of stuff. He's fantastic.
Everything. Yeah. But that's the vibe I get from Bartolomeo. He's just like, whatever it is, I'm down.
I'm down. It's like, I'm down to fuck shit up, and we're gonna fuck it up good.
Oh, you're into some weird shit. Okay.
I see.
But, so, yeah. He asks you to liberate some captive mercenaries throughout the district while he prepares his men.
Which, yeah, go get them from cages.
Yeah. Which I actually kind of like that one because then it's like you kind of like grow a little.
You grow them as you. Yeah, I was about to say. I was like, it was fun because like you started growing your army. Like you're like, oh, like you freed 3 of them, and then you got like 6 of them, and you're like, holy shit, there's a lot of people here helping me.
Right.
Honestly though, useless as fuck. I wrote that down. I wrote it down somewhere, but these guys are useless as fuck.
Yeah, but I do like how like. We aren't introduced to any new like gameplay mechanics, but they're still refreshing the gameplay.
Yeah,
like we're still getting like different types of mission structures and everything.
Yeah, they're like, here we're gonna now you're gonna rescue people, but they're also gonna help you fight and rescue the other people. And,
yeah, like you feel like you're amassing an army.
Yeah, I mean they can't climb for shit, so you gotta walk the whole way goddamn there.
But like it's kind of cool. Like it's a cool like power stance move.
Yeah,
as you're literally just
you're
like
walking
trouncing
all of them.
through
No,
Venice.
I was thinking that too. I was like, it was kind of fun because they're all around you, and you're just like, oh wow, I got a lot of people. Like nobody's fucking with me right now.
Yeah, exactly.
Like nobody's fucking without all these people. Now nobody's really fucking with me.
Oh, 100%. It adds to the fun factor of the game of just again having different situations in these environments and all like they have fun ways of mixing up the gameplay concepts and like introducing them in new ways and just the design of this game is so top notch.
So top. I think they were just creative with it. That was 100%. Like a lot of I feel like they aren't all the missions are like maybe it's just because they all been done now, but like it's just like nowadays I feel like there's just like 4 mission types. You do those.
Yeah, I mean, well, and I will say, like, it can still be done. You see games like Astrobot, which innovate a 50-year-old genre at this point,
platforming
that like, continues to like push the genre forward. When it's like, how the fuck are we still coming up with new platforming
like if you
concepts?
Can still innovate platforming, like,
yeah,
you can innovate the Assassin's Creed missions.
Exactly, and I think that's why I am a little more critical of Shadows, is because this is the 14th Assassin's Creed game from one of the biggest developers in the world. So, like, if this were an indie game, I probably would see it differently. But the fact that they've had so many chances to iterate and make this game good, and they have made this game good in the past, is why I'm left kind of like...
Make Assassin's Creed great again. That's...
Maka. You know what? We'll add it to the merch shop when we get a merch shop. It can't be red.
It's not going to be red. Absolutely. Will not be
it'll just be like, it'll have to be like white and black or something with like, just like Assassin's logo and make MACGA, make Assassin's Creed great again. But yeah, which I get, again, a lot of people would argue that Shadows does. So I'm not going to say all that. But then again, you look at the Metacritic scores for all of them. Shadows ain't that different from all the other RPGs, and people talk shit about them, so we'll see what happens in 3 months. Who knows? People change their mind all the time about this shit. So who knows? And maybe I'll change my mind. Maybe I'll roll credits on Shadows, and I'll be like, this is fucking peak. This is better Assassin's Creed 2.
No.
Well, you know. Like I said, it remains to be seen. I do think my perception will improve, as I think a lot of the good stuff of the RPG games are in the back half, so it's just kind of getting there, which is another fault, because why do I need to get through bad shit to enjoy the good shit? But
see, I love exposition, and that's not a good way to do it.
But there's a lot of exposition in Shadows.
If it's good exposition, I'm fine with it.
Yeah, that's good.
Good story,
like I said,
driven exposition, I'm okay with.
Act 1, really cool. I really enjoy it. And I have a feeling I'm going to really enjoy Act 3. But the Act 2 is what's losing me. That's where I'm like,
Did we just stop talking about the secrets?
Obviously.
Okay.
But you're preparing the men, right?
Yeah, you get your army, you gotta rescue like 3 troops, or 3 bashes of them, I think.
Yeah.
For 2 different areas.
So you're having fun trouncing through there. And so you get back to Bartolomeo, and then Ezio and him plan to escort the mercenaries to strategic locations to draw out Silvio's guards so that Ezio can make his move.
And this is where I said these guys are useless.
Yeah.
Because, like, the first one, honestly, like, I mean, they didn't really help, but, like, they were there, and they did
Well,
things.
it also sucks because anytime they come across guards, they're just like, they go fight.
Bro, that was... No,
I was about to complain about that. I was watching the mini-map to avoid them.
I was getting so annoyed by that, actually. I was going to bring that up, too, where it's just like, I just felt like they were there to make my life harder by bringing guards to my attention. Because it was just like, every time I would walk around a corner, just be like, we're going to fight you. And it's like, stop trying to fight them.
It's like, do we have to? Like,
it's like, he's right there. Let's just get there. There's 2 red dots. There's 2 of them. Why are we picking fights with these 10 group army of people?
Yeah, I just avoided them.
Yeah, it prolonged my time, but I was fine with it because I like killing things in these early games. And, we're getting to the end, so I'm going to kill as many things as I can.
Yeah. It sounds like it's a very unassassin-like thing of you to do. That's crazy.
What do assassins kill? That's all they do is kill. Yeah. I'm just doing a bunch of assassins.
What are you killing them with?
Mostly my hidden blade, sometimes a sword.
Oh, using a sword, huh? In an assassin game? Jeez. Huh. Well,
I'm gonna fight you. I'm gonna fight you.
All the shit you give about non-assassin stuff.
Okay, I feel like you misunderstand where my like hate comes from about the non-assassin stuff. It's not like the weapons. It's the lore. It's give me the lore. Like they did such a good job of giving you just like cool assassins like stuff like in these early games.
Okay, yeah, and I'm not gonna act like Black Flag is on par with that. But there's a ton of Assassin's lore in Black Flag.
No, here's the reason I hate Black Flag. Is because they give you so much of this fucking lore, and you're not even a goddamn assassin. It's just, it feels wrong to me. And
you have hidden blades.
Yeah, but that you stole!
Okay, who cares?
I care!
You're an assassin in every sense of the word.
No.
You have assassin's blades.
You don't know the creed.
You assassinate
You don't know the creed!
That's like the whole point of Black Flag, though, is, you're an assassin who's not really an assassin. Isn't that intriguing to you? Isn't that an interesting concept?
You're not an assassin.
For someone who's all about lore, isn't that an interesting part of lore of, like, an assassin who wasn't ever really an assassin, but the things they did for the Assassin's Brotherhood is, like, really influential?
Hold on. He didn't do shit for the Brotherhood.
I don't know. He did a lot for, like, the Golden Age of piracy and shit involving the Assassin's Brotherhood.
Did you play Black Flag?
I
How many
did.
hours of Black Flag did you play?
We can look it up right now. I got fucking Steam.
You like the first quarter of that game is you basically like learning about assassins, and then the next rest of that game is you being like, I'm not an assassin.
Yeah, but then you constantly get thrown into assassin stuff.
Yeah, and honestly, like, okay, we gotta finish this sequence and then we can rant.
32.5 hours.
Probably more hours than I put in that game, honestly.
Yeah, get fucked.
Actually, I don't know. I put a lot of hours on Black Flag. Because
Let's
to be
find
fair,
out. I think you played it on Xbox, didn't you?
I know I talk a lot of shit about Black Flag.
You don't even own it on Steam.
Yeah, because I play on the Xbox.
What a loser.
But I talk a lot of shit about Black Flag. It's but it's a fantastic game. Like, I enjoyed playing Black Flag. I just give a lot of shit because it was the first game to not be you're not an assassin. And
Except you do everything an assassin does.
no, you do pirate shit.
And assassin shit.
Yeah, and then
I think you just forget about all the assassin shit because you're so hung up on the pirate shit.
because the boat.
Yeah.
That goddamn boat.
Well, guess what? There's also land that you walk on with your feet. And you know what you do on that land? Assassinate people all the fucking time.
I remember exploring and doing all that shit. Like, I enjoyed the game. I enjoyed the exploration. I don't know. Like, they even had a whole island of assassins. I thought that was badass. And you got to learn more about, like, kind of the assassin stuff there, which that's good lore. I'm fine with that lore. But I'm
and what
mad.
if I told you that almost every single facet of Black Flag was also in Assassin's Creed 3, a game that you notoriously love? You know what Assassin's Creed 3 also had?
Because you're an
boats.
assassin. You're doing the good assassin's work. By the end of Black Flag, you were doing the opposite. You were actively putting steps backwards. I mean,
Lucas is
to be
just an
fair, it's in the
Edward
past. But like,
Lucas just has beef with the Kenways.
I do, except for my boy. I can't remember his fucking name right now.
Can't even remember Connor's name.
Connor Kenway. Yeah,
He's not a Kenway.
He's not, but he is.
Only by blood. In the same way, he's a fucking auditory.
Yeah, but Hathan can suck a dick.
Anyway, Assassin's Creed 2.
Man, this is a fucking tangenty episode. Holy shit.
Yeah, this is the episode of all time. And so anyway, you get these guards to these locations.
Yeah.
And then Bartolomeo gives Ezio a flare to signal the attack and creates the distraction.
I don't remember shooting off this flare. Why don't I remember shooting off this flare?
I don't know. I did
really
this 3.5 days ago, so
I don't know. I do remember like having
you get to a
go
location.
Yeah, you have to go to a location, but I don't remember.
It's a firework.
It's a firework. I do remember it now. Okay,
Yeah.
yeah, because like it was yeah. Okay, I remember.
Yeah. So you get your firework, you set off, and then you chase through Dante and Silvio through the streets, or Bartolomeo is like fighting Dante, and then he
honestly,
runs off.
I was super annoyed because like that dude ran, like the dude that we were supposed to one of the dudes we were supposed to kill, and like he ran away, and I'm like, let me chase him. I can kill him. Like, I thought that's what I was supposed to chase. I wasn't even looking at my map. I started chasing him. I was like caught up to him, and I was like, and I got desynced because like, where am I? I was like, I'm not supposed to. That's the man. That's my target. Why? Let me kill him. I'm right here. No. Apparently, I had to kill the other guy who was not our target, who was fighting Bart.
Yeah. You'll get him eventually. Don't worry.
Yeah.
Have patience.
Gotta be a little patient, apparently.
But yeah, did you kill them both at the same time, or were they separate? Dante and Silvio.
I killed them both at the same time.
See, I didn't get them until after they split. Well, I tried to go because Dante was lagging like slightly behind Silvio.
No,
so
I didn't
got
kill him at the same
first.
time because I thought I was gonna get it, but what ended up happening is because they got to the boat for me. I don't know how far they got.
Yeah. They got to the boat for me.
They got to the boat for me instead of running onto the boat. But like in my like scuffle to get up to like ramp, I like knocked one of them off in the water, and they died that way. And then I assassinated the other one. But yeah, so that guy. But then it was funny because the cutscene, I'm just like,
right, they're
just both
together.
dead.
Yeah.
Like that guy should be wet.
Yeah, not a whole lot of realism there when it comes to the assassination cutscenes.
But you know,
it is what it is.
It is what it is.
But yeah. And so, yeah, they attempt to sail away to a land.
Right?
that was going to be my trivia question.
Oh.
Until Lucas just fucking said it.
Well, figure out a new one real quick, I guess. This is why we discuss these things before the podcast.
Yeah. And so, you know what? I'll edit it in post. Just because, fuck yeah. I'll put in a Lucas's stupid bleep on there or something. I don't know.
We'll just substitute it in for the answer next week.
Yeah.
We'll just do a flashback.
Yeah, literally. And so, anyway, that's the trivia question for this week. Hopefully you can get it. I got to remember to actually edit it now instead of doing what I usually do. And so, yeah. What is the town? What is the goddamn town? The goddamn place that Cilio and goddamn Dante attempt to sail to, but are thwarted by Ezio. Where are they trying to go?
I'm not going to say it this time.
I think Lucas knows. Maybe. So answer the trivia question. I need to start going over it with him beforehand like I used to.
Hey, I mean, I did kind of whisper it, so you might not even been.
This would not be the first time we already revealed the answer to a trivia question in the podcast.
Yeah.
Like when I said the fucking flag count.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
So it wouldn't be the first time. So, but that's the end of our sequence. We got through it. And look at that. We're an hour.
A little over.
So, you know what? Like I said, we're not following any guidelines. We're our own bosses. It don't fucking matter. Like I said, like the sequence itself was very short. That's why we were afforded all these fucking tangents about shadows and Black Flag and all this shit. Fucking Animus Hub.
Yeah, we did all those tangents, and we're still only 5 minutes over our time.
Yeah. So, thank you guys. I appreciate you all. We're getting into sequence 11 next week. We're almost done. We've only got a few more weeks. And then we're done with season 2. The finale approaches. We're getting to the end of it. How are you feeling with 4 sequences left?
Feeling kind of sad, honestly. Because, like, it's starting to hit me that, like, this is low-key peak Assassin's Creed. Like, not that it's, like, directly downhill from here.
Right.
But it's just, like, it's gonna... After this is over, like, it's not gonna be as fun.
Right.
It'll be pretty fun. Like, I'm not gonna say there are gonna be bad games. Like, I'm gonna have a blast playing Brotherhood, one of my favorite games of all time. Mm-hmm. But it's just sad. It's coming to an end.
Right.
One of the greatest experiences.
Right. Like even though like there are again, because I love Brotherhood and I love Black Flag, I know I'm gonna have just a ton of fun playing through both of those games, especially Black Flag. But there is something iconic about Assassin's Creed 2 in both what it did for the franchise and just how it stands as its own game. Like, it is something that none of the other games have truly replicated. And, I did, like, in Jake Baldino's video for Shadows, one of the things he referenced was Black Flag, and that he's like, as much as I love Black Flag, you could easily say that it was the genocide of the franchise, because that was the first game that gave you just a bunch of shit to do on the map. And he's like, a lot of it was fun because, like, you wanted to do those things. You wanted to take on the challenging man of wars and upgrade your ship. A lot of people wanted to do that.
I didn't.
But that was the start of Assassin's Creed putting a bunch of other stuff in there to pad things out. And while most people that are not Lucas will agree that it's padded well, that kind of opened the door for Ubisoft to be like, oh, so we can put in a bunch of stuff into these games. And so, that was kind of the turning point.
I know I give it a lot of shit, but I'm hard on it because it was that turning point. It was, for me, that was when Assassin's Creed became not Assassin's Creed. That was like the beginning of that. And then I played Odyssey, and then that was really it. I was like, oh, okay, we're done.
To be fair, you missed a lot in between there. Because, again, a lot of people like...
I played Rogue, a little bit of Rogue. I didn't beat Rogue, but Rogue was fun.
Rogue is just Black Flag 2.
Yeah.
That's all it is. But, I mean, Unity... There's a lot of good things about Unity, and I'm very excited about Unity.
I played like 4 hours of the one with the twins.
Yeah, Syndicate's cool too. There's some things that are annoying, but it's cool.
I actually enjoyed Syndicate. I'm not gonna lie. The like little bit I played, it was actually pretty like I liked the setting it was in, and
right.
Yeah, it was just fun.
Yeah, I mean, Syndicate's the closest we've ever gotten to a modern Assassin's Creed. Like, they have factories and different stuff.
Yeah, that's why I call it. It was like almost steampunky feeling, but it wasn't like steam. It was just like
Well, and also
This
this
is
is the
Steam.
closest. Like they got pretty close to Arkham Combat in Syndicate, where they
Oh,
started
yeah.
getting into
They
like the
did kinda-
combo
yeah,
systems
that's
and stuff
right.
like that. They really played with the combat system in Syndicate, so that was another interesting bit.
Yeah,
But we'll get to all that later.
yeah.
And so, yeah, we're coming to an end here on this episode, coming to an end on the game here within the next few weeks.
Just yeah.
And so,
Just
lots
feeling-
of exciting stuff coming
Feeling
in.
a little sad. Gonna miss it. But Brotherhood, I was getting hyped this sequence for like we were running around with all those people. I was like, man, I can't wait for Brotherhood to get my assassin squad ready to go, get all their costumes, get them their weapons. Like it'll be a good time running around the city with my assassins.
Hell yeah. And don't forget the tower defense mode in Revelations. Everyone's fan favorite mode.
I forgot about that mode until you said it.
It's honestly the reason why it was the least received, like the least well received version of that. I think it really is that. Everything else is pretty much firing on all cylinders. Like the story's great, the gameplay's fine. It's that
Hookblade,
fucking
baby.
tower defense, man. That useless fucking mode that they just shoehorned in there because they're like, hey, this is basically just Brotherhood, and they're like, tower defense.
I fucking loved the hook blade, and then they proceeded to like basically never use it again.
They kind of did it in Syndicate. They just made it electric, and we're like, you can go up now.
That's right. Yeah, that's a grapple thingy.
Yeah, but they went too hard with that. Then it just
Yeah.
made parkour fucking useless.
Yeah.
Which is like half the fun of Assassin's Creed.
Yeah.
You could not use it, but like there's no verticality in Syndicate. That's the problem. There's not too much stuff you can climb, and if you do climb, you basically are forced to use the hook blade or the grapple.
And
But-
yeah, Assassin's Creed though, like Assassin's Creed 2, their level design is really good.
Yeah.
Like they give you a lot of areas for parkour. Honestly though, Venice has been kind of annoying to me because you have to find a fucking bridge to go anywhere across like if I want to get somewhere across the lake, you just gotta find a bridge, and it's super annoying. Just like 3 bridges.
I was doing some side content this sequence, and I started utilizing the boats. And I was like,
I did
should
use a
start
boat.
taking
I did use
through
a boat
Venice.
once, but I feel like that would probably be useful. That's probably why they show you how to use boats. Be like, hey, you're gonna want to be using boats here.
Yeah.
It's kind of annoying to navigate.
Start doing some boats. And then I'm using boats in Shadows, and man, they're so much better. They're so much better. That boat, like I like that you have to like manually row and whatnot, but like the actual like thing itself is pretty clunky. Again, it's another thing where it's like if you played the RPGs first, then came to these.
Yeah.
I
That's the one thing about like these type of games, like is like they're old and they're aged. So if you tried to play them out of order, like you're gonna struggle.
Yeah.
I played the Batman Arkham City before I played Arkham Asylum.
Right.
And even that like kind of fucked with me. And that was not even that different.
Right. It does, yeah, because I mean it's a much more condensed game compared to City, and so it can seem inferior. But there is a lot to love if you look at it a bit retrospectively, in the same way of like
yeah.
Assassin's Creed and Assassin's Creed 2. I don't think it's as big of a jump, between those, because Asylum is also an amazing game, but
yeah, absolutely.
but yeah, they're very different. But anyway, we need to get out of here.
Yeah,
this is our longest
we're gonna
episode
keep
yet.
yapping.
So we're cutting it off. We'll see you guys
Stop
next
it.
week. Remember, nothing is true.
Everything is permitted.
Arriva fucking Derchi.